very much. BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family. How are you today? Let me know if you can see and hear me, please. Maud, can you let me know if you can see and hear me? I'm just putting in the microphone, so just bear with me 1 second. Slight movement. How are you? 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 How has your week been? Let me know if you can see and hear me. Give me a quick sound check, please. Give me a quick sound check, please. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Okay. Let me know if you can see and hear me, if everything's okay. Excess sweat, sorry. Let me put my fan on. So it looks like it's official, and rainy season is over, and we are officially into the dry season. So the lights are a bit bright, Maud. Can we try the other lights? Turn those ones off. Let's try them. These ones are a bit light. It's giving me a lot of shadow. Sorry, I'm just seeing the light. Welcome to BlaXit, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's the last day of yeah. Thank you. This is the last day of November. Would you believe it? Where has 2025 gone? Welcome to BlaXit. BlaXit is the channel that is dedicated to your repatriation and relocation back to your nation. Our moderator today that is helping us is Kath Ray. Thank you and welcome. Close the door for me, please, Kath. And welcome to BlaXit. BlaXit is the channel that is dedicated to your relocation, your repatriation back to your nation, and that's Africa. I'm Juliet, aka Nyancho Kajabi. I am the CEO and founder of BlaXit, and also your host. Yeah, and I want to say today, big up yourself for everybody that got involved in the blackout. The blackout. That's right. Black power is out. Well, listen, all I got to say is I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Please come into the comment section so I can give you a shout out if you are here. Thank you for the 2 thumbs up. Please let me know that you are here so I can read out your names. Let the world hear that you are here on BlaXit. You're part of the BlaXit community, part of the BlaXit family. And BlaXit is about our reparations, our repatriations, our rights, our power, and of course our enablement as Black people to ascend, as our rights as Black people to go back to whence we came from, which is our ancestral land, and for us to invest in Africa, for us to recognize ourselves as Africans, and also to, of course, be empowered as Africans. So let me see who's here. So let's go through slowly. Hunter 4777. Yeah. Sabai. Hi, how are you? Okay. And then there's Mackenzie. I'm going to say hello to you. There's Promo. Hello to you. Sorry if I only abbreviate, because some of you got lots of numbers by your names. Okay. Let me also say hello to Camtech and Parallel from, I think that's Kogo or Oppo. Okay, and Mackenzie, how are you? Hello, 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 and kisses back to you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much for your kisses. Okay, so let me just do a little bit of housekeeping before we go into today's live. The BlaXit is a high vibration, high frequency channel, okay, which is dedicated to our progress, our enablement, okay? It is dedicated to us loving each other and for our unity, okay? This is a Garveyite channel and it is in the heart of what Honourable Marcus Garvey wanted to achieve, which was, of course, Black unity and our repatriation, our return back to Africa, okay? So please, if you're coming in here to create disturbance, if you're coming in here, just to distract, it's not going to work, okay? Our moderator is very sharp and he will just take you out, okay? So let me, in that being said, hello to Caroline, okay? So, right, if you wanted to ask questions, let me also explain to you how it works, okay? There is a text line which is +220 240 5273, and usually you send the questions in advance. That way, and it's been pre-prepped, okay? So, I'm glad that you're here to talk, okay? So, thank you so much, okay? Thank you so much for being here with us today. I do appreciate your participation, okay? I'm sorry, apologize, it's the internet. Unfortunately, I don't have much control. Jean, how are you? Hello, lovely, nice to meet you as well. So welcome. So let me just start with saying how powerful the last of November has been, both in terms of what's going on in Guinea-Bissau and also what is going on in America. And of course, anything that happens there impacts us, okay? Why? Because we are Africans, okay? Yes, I returned to Africa, and this broadcast is made from West Africa. So if there's a lag, it could be the internet here, or it could be the internet there, because it's not lagging on my end. So we are broadcasting from one of the smallest countries in Africa, and that is Gambia. And many of you have repatriated through BlaXit. That is what we do. We enable you to repatriate back to Africa. That is what we do. That is our service. And of course, we do it with nothing but pride and professionalism. And of course, we do it with love, which is most important. And that is what, BlaXit is about. It is about Black love. It's about us coming together, okay? Because why do they have us turning on ourselves? Why do they have us turning on ourselves? We have been attacked, just like you have. And I'm talking about us in the continent of Africa and also us in the diaspora, okay? I'm talking about us turning ourselves. There are people like me that are out here as Pan-Africanists, trying to, encourage you to come back to Africa. And I'm doing it for a number of reasons. And there are many things that I've seen, many things that I've experienced. I was born in England. I've been to America several times, okay? And I've traveled to a lot of countries, I think about 31 now, different countries. I use that experience to share that experience. And so I do give you the opportunity to ask me questions. And I did get asked a couple of questions that I want to answer on this week's show. And there's a couple that I would like to answer on next week's show, just because I want to do them justice. And so someone asked me about when I was building my house. I thought I touched on it, but I wanted a little bit more detail, some of the tips. So one of the tips that I want to say to you, when you repatriate and you say, for example, you've bought your land from us and you're doing your plan, of course, we will guide you through the process. But one of the things I would say to you is to use professional contractors. And that's all who we now recommend are professional contractors, okay? I had my own experience when I was doing what they called a platter, which is the ceiling in my house. And I stupidly, well, not stupidly, let's just say I didn't know at the time that this person wasn't quite as professional as they appear to be. I listened to a recommendation from a friend whose son was looking for some money and then said he could do the job, but he clearly couldn't, and delayed my build by like 8 weeks. And his job was very unprofessional, very sloppy, and so I ended up wasting money and time and then bringing in a professional contractor. So if you have a friend or a friend who says, oh yeah, they can do it, no, just stick with the professionals. Okay, it will save you time and energy and money. Also, another thing that I wanted to share that was brought to me by one of our subscribers that is currently here, she bought her land here and everything, and also another subscriber bought his land here, and they're currently doing their fence and everything on their land, and they were about to put their borehole down just to get water to their fence. And I said, no, don't do that. Call the architect first and get the architect on the land to help you to position where your house is going to be properly, and then put your borehole down. So luckily enough, it was just in time, and she was able to do that. So those are just a couple of tips. Things like that we can give you when you're building and so on, to help you to make sure that you don't experience some of the same mistakes as I did, because my borehole's at the back, but my neighbour's borehole isn't. So, I would prefer for it because of the water pressure, of course, when you're working with a borehole. So these are just a few tips that we can give you. So I just wanted to finish answering that question that was left over from last week, okay? So I'm saying to you, yeah? Why do they have us turning on ourselves? Okay, we have been attacked just like you have. We have been depleted just as you have. We have been robbed just as you have. We have been misguided just as you have. We have been made to hate each other just as you have. We have been miseducated just as you have. We have faced losses and deaths and illnesses and health issues. Just and in the diaspora it's crazy, but it's not us, but they have to stop us from turning on each other. I've seen some really horrible things said on social media, which is just there to instigate division between us and the continent and us in the diaspora, and we mustn't allow this to happen, because we experience much of the same things, just in a different way. Okay, and it's time for us to unify. It's time for us to come together. Okay. So Big said plenty other civilized societies who can provide minerals and other resources. Africa has 200 years to catch up. So why do you think that? If that was the case, why would De Beers be here? You're just making absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. How long has De Beers been here? Yeah, were they waiting to catch up to take the diamonds? Were they waiting to catch up to take the cobalt from Congo? This is the thing. Catch up to who and catch up to what? Is this what you call civilized? Let's talk about civilized society then, right? 48.4 million people in America in 2024, right? Aged 12 and over. Okay, this is one of the so-called civilized societies. Yeah, 48.4 million people aged 12 and over, okay, were addicted to a substance. Okay, what they call substance misuse disorder. Okay, this is what you call a civilized society. Really? Why is everyone trying to escape this so-called civilized society by using drugs? I live in Africa. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't use drink, I don't use alcohol. I live a clean and healthy life, much like much of the people here. Where would you say was more civilized? I mean, it's just a question, okay? And substance misuse disorder is a clinical term for addiction, okay? So when people are talking about that, pressure creates character, okay? I'm going to say it again. Pressure creates character. That's when you find out about your civilized society. Your civilized society that you're talking about, because America's supposed to be one of the most civilized, apparently, right? Which, of course, was very much involved in the enslavement of Africans, okay, over hundreds of years. That's they've over 524, where, you know, over 4 people have been killed, okay? They're not including the shooter, okay? This is civilized society. So, you know, when you come talking and making your comments, be careful, because, you know, some people do research. Okay, some people do research on your so-called civilized society. Okay? If it wasn't for us, where would you be? It's the blood and sweat and lives of Africans that were used as prisoners of war in a total war, because it's a total war against us. Okay, so when you're writing your comments, you know, be careful. So really, I am talking about Blackout Friday, and I'm talking about the importance of boycott. Sorry, let me get some water. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied here. Right, let's talk about the importance of boycotts and general strikes, because I think that Friday proved how important it is and how people have the power. Okay, how important it is. And I'm going to say to you, okay, my people, we can all boycott from wherever we are, because American products, British products, European products are everywhere now. Okay, we can do it by, like I was saying about, you know, with sugar, just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. Okay, at the end of the day, like I said, pressure creates character. When Europeans, whites, Anglo-Saxons, Neanderthals, whatever you want to call, right, get under pressure, they turn to violence and chaos. Okay, that has been something that has been proved over time. That's why I said, who's the common enemy? And that's what we have to look at. Okay, we have to stop attacking each other, and we have to start taking serious action. Okay, we have to start taking serious action, because they will resort to what they always were. And I'm sorry, that's savagery. Yeah, savagery. That's what savages do. They resort back to savagery. That's why when they lose privilege, you have all these shootings, you have all these episodes happening, and crime rates then start to escalate. When it's black people, they want to say that, oh, black people are like what, criminals? So what happens when white people have poverty? Oh, then it's crime. Yeah, hypocrisy, double standards. Yeah. So now prices are rising, and now, you know, white people are feeling the pinch, right? Not black people. Okay. Now, you know, the tables are turning. The tables are turning. Okay. And so what we have to look at, right, is how do we either survive this there or get out here? Okay. I mean, my advice is to get out and come to Africa. Of course, that's always been my advice. But not everybody's able to do that. Okay. Not everybody's able to do that. All right. I'm sorry to not see your comments recently. Let me just have a quick look. So we're talking about the effectiveness of blackouts. Okay. The effectiveness of boycotts. Remember, Rosa Parks. Okay. When Rosa Parks, right, she had to pay her fare to get on that bus. Okay. And then, you know, she was denied a seat. Okay, just because of the fact that she was a black woman. And what happened because of Rosa Parks? Look at the year-long boycott that took place then. Look at the impact of that boycott that took place then. We were walking to work early hours in the morning, okay, because we couldn't get a bus, because we refused to take a bus. Okay, and what happened? People were lynched because they were going out early in the morning when it was dark, and, you know, those racists, right? Those killers, okay? Those savages. What did they do? They took to going and lynching people while they were on the way to work. So people lost their lives for that boycott to make change, so that we could pay the same fare and sit on a bus. Civil rights movement is not an easy thing, and we must always, you know, pay tribute to all of those people that stood up on business, that stood up on their principles, that stood up for us, that enabled us to have the rights and privileges that we have today. Okay, and I'm just saying that it's so important, right? I've noticed with the SNAP EBTs that are going on in America, benefits being withdrawn. Yeah, I'm here in the Gambia. Who's that? Okay, I'm here in the Gambia. Okay, I am here in the Gambia. The topic about God, I will answer that, but that's more of a bigger topic, and I really want to stay on topic for now because you know, SNAP benefits are affecting people, and I'm selling to people now, right? If these things are affecting you, cancel out the holidays. Okay, but I want to thank everybody for not participating in Black Friday. Okay, everybody that didn't participate in Thanksgiving, I have got nothing but applause for you, because now we are taking back control and it's high time. Okay, if you celebrate Christmas, it doesn't mean that you have to get into debt. It doesn't mean that you have to go and spend all your money on these corporations, just making them richer and richer and richer and richer and richer and richer every single day. Okay, I was glad when I saw, you know, a video about Walmart being empty on Black Friday. I'm so proud that we are now starting to use logic, because you realize that they weren't really discounting the prices. They were just bringing them down to the ordinary retail, recommended retail price. So, you know, it was just trickery. Okay, I wanted to see you when I was there. I could not get to you. Oh, why is that? Why is that? Did you call me? Did we make arrangements? I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah, hit me up. Hit me up. That's fine. That's fine. I'm sorry about that, because I do usually try and go out of my way to see people. So I'm sorry about that. You know, but look at what happened with the Target boycott in America. That's why I have to big you up. I have to big you up. I have to big you up. There's even Target here, right? And I don't shop there, okay? I don't shop there. I don't know if it's the original one or a fabricated version. But there, I've seen one shop here anyway. But I don't shop there, okay? And so they lost $680 million. $680 million. Why? Because we decided to stand together. We decided to be unified, okay? And this is what I said at the beginning. We have to stop attacking each other and start to stand, you know, together. And anyone attacking anyone that's doing good works online, log them off. We have to boycott them too. Anyone that is coming in to destroy the movement, to destroy the progress, to destroy the advancement of what we are doing, helping you to come home, helping to, you know, educate each other, you know, helping with our mind emancipation. We have to also boycott those people that are not wanting to do anything positive towards our nation, towards our people. Yeah, we have to take out the black shots, as I call them, the people that want to shoot other black people down. Okay, we have to. Oh, I give out my number. My text line is plus 220-240-5273. Okay, so plus 220-240-5273. We're also going to have two other ways of contacting us as well. Okay, one is on an African app, communication app, and another one is going to be on Discord. Okay, so hello, Moed, how are you? How are you? Tariq, how are you? So yeah, I want to say, you know, congratulations, because we are proving that, you know, by making sure that just by inaction, look at what happened to Target just by inaction. Just by saying, I'm going to go somewhere else. What we have to now do is to direct our dollars and our pounds towards black businesses, okay, who can supply us, okay, because there are now a lot of black businesses that can supply us the things that we need, Okay, I even get emails from this man who supplies Caribbean food and goods and delivers to your home, and that's in the UK. But I'm here, obviously. I'm in the Gambia, but I'm saying that I'm sure these things exist in America, because if we are going to strike, if we are going to have a general strike, okay, that means that we have to be prepared and we have to be ready. Okay, if you want to show the power that you have as a people, the power that we have as a people, they say that there's more than 12 million black people there. Okay, there's more than 12 million black people there. If we want to have power, we have to say yes, but we got to make sure that there's a slush fund there. Okay, and I'm saying not a slush fund where they can control it in one of their banks, like we was talking about Wendy Williams last week, where, you know, they got some guardianship on her and all this craziness, but put on her by a bank. And I told her, come to Africa, Wendy Williams. You understand? I don't know what you're doing. Come to Gambia, come chill. You know, come heal, come sit by the sea. You understand? Because they're taking control. So once we can do that and do things in our own way, then we have the power. We have the power. And we mustn't be scared. Because in Rosa Parks Day, you know, people lost their lives and they wasn't scared. And now we have social media. Now we have the internet. Okay? Echo Simpson. Hello, my darling. Oh, kisses to you. You're doing great works. Lovely to hear from you. Stop taking the American imported rice. You know, start eating our own African rice. Okay? Explore. How are you? Yeah? Nice to meet you too. I hope you've all subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, please do so. Press that all-important bell icon. I haven't been posting much on my main channel, but I've got good news for you. My main cameraman and editor is back, finally. So we will be continuing with our main content as we create more content. We unfortunately lost the hard drive with lots of content on it, so that's why it's been a bit sporadic here and there. I do apologize for the banging in the background. So yeah, we need to hold on to our wallets. Okay, we are making them rich at the expense of them making us poor. Okay, let me say it again. Okay, we are making them rich at the expense of them making us poor. Okay, and we're enabling them to make us poor. Yeah, because why? Holidays. The main holidays is exploitation. If you want to go and enjoy the Christmas or the Eid or whatever with your family, what do you really need? You need some basics, which is food. You don't have to buy all of these gifts and things for your children, which end up just left to the side. We've got to stop being manipulated every year into consumerism, because that's what they've done. The black community is one of the biggest consumers, and this has to stop. We need to stop consuming and start saving. Okay? That's what we have to do. We have to start land banking in Africa. We need to start accumulating land. Why is, Gates buying so much land in Africa? Why is he buying so much land? Because they want to go make their own kind of deviant, crazy, mixed up food that they can give you that's going to have impact on your DNA. So no, it's time for us to buy our own land and grow our own food, okay? Not use their genetically, it's not even genetically modified now, it's modifying our DNA. Okay? So we have to start taking control, okay? Because, Blackout showed us that we can have power, that we can work together, and that, we can organize across states, across countries, across boundaries. Yeah? Across countries. Imagine that. That's what it showed. It showed that we can, and we shall. Let me see your comment. Who is this? Okay. So, Okay, listen, I think there's some great information here. Maybe you should go to Psalms, yeah? Psalms 31, verses 1 to 5, or maybe Psalms 91, and read that. That's why I say be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Okay, so I'm just talking to one of the comments there in the comment section. So like I said, spammers, please, let's get on with the content, because this is very, very important. I know that you want to keep the status quo, but it's not going to happen like that. It is not going to happen like that, okay? Because the government is taking food out of people's mouths, and it is not right. It is not right, okay? You have the right to live. You have the right to have a life. You have the right to eat without having to go to food banks to survive, okay? You have the right to have a universal basic wage in which everybody can survive on. Because I already spoke about the disparities and the differences between the earnings between black and white families last week, okay? So I just want to say that boycott energy has increased, and I am so proud of you, okay? It's very important. And I want to talk briefly about a man called Brandon Johnson, I think his name. Is it Brandon Johnson? Let me just check. Hang on. Brendan Johnson. I said Brandon, didn't I? But I think it's Brendan, okay? Brendan Johnson. Brendan Johnson is the mayor of Chicago, and I want to big this man up so heavy, because when, just like Ibrahim Traore, and Ibrahim Traore, I also want to celebrate him for a lot of the achievements that he's accomplishing now. Okay, it's very, very important, because this mayor of Chicago, he stood out on business. Okay, he stood out on business, and he told people straight, yeah, we need a sustained national process. He told people that the ultra rich and the billionaires are united. Yeah, the ultra rich and the billionaires are united. And if you're going to beat back against this tyranny and authoritarianism, okay, you have to be united. And we have to be united, which is where I started this live from, and what this live is about. In order to effect these strikes, it can't just be in America, it has to be from outside. So I'm calling for all the diaspora. Let's stop buying all of these products that are made by these corporations and conglomerates. Okay? Let's stop supporting these American nations. Okay, and Western nations that are exploiting Africa. Okay, they are exploiting Africa. They are exploiting Africa, and they are exploiting you in America also. It's not, I'm saying the same thing again. I will say it again. Yeah, they have us turning on ourselves, but they're doing the same things to us. They're turning on ourselves. We have, we have been attacked just like you have, right? We've been depleted just like you have. We've been robbed just like you have. We've been misguided just like you have. We've been made to hate ourselves just like you have. We've been miseducated just like you have. We've faced losses and deaths and ill health just like you have. Who is the common enemy? Yeah? It's not us. So we have to stop turning on each other. We have to, stop attacking each other, because we have to start now attacking the real enemy, and that is not us. Okay? That is not us. Okay? It is serious. So the mayor of Chicago was calling for, and he's a lovely, lovely black man. He really is. He is an African born in America, and I am so proud of him. Okay? The mayor of Chicago is Brendan Johnson, okay? And he calls for a blackout, okay? He talked about how slavery, okay? During slavery, we had the greatest strike, okay? During the civil rights, we had the greatest strike. And black people, we have the power, and that we can do it again, okay? It's time for corporations to pay their fair share, okay? So I think that they're saying that it's 12 million people that are needed for the general strike, okay? And within this general strike, right, people are advised do not buy from these large corporations, okay? Do not buy. Also, do not work, okay? Do not work. Now, in order not to work, you're going to need financial support. So that's why this has to be done in a very strategic way. Okay, it has to be planned, and it has to be done in a way in which, you know, the least harm and the least suffering is going to occur. Okay, and nothing moves. Nothing moves. If you bring it to a standstill, they have to change the way in which they're treating us. Okay, they have to change the way in which they're also treating Africa. You know, when I recently listened to what the president of America said about Nigeria, I was totally disgusted. Okay, we are not children. We are sovereign countries, independent, sovereign countries. And no, you're not going to bully us. And we will stop taking American rice. Okay? We will stop taking American products too. So it goes both ways. Okay? We will support you from here. We will support you from here because it's got to be effective in terms of having impact on the economy. Okay? Please hit that like button. Thank you. Okay? As you know, the powers that be or powers that were don't like the way in which I'm talking. That's why we've been impacted. This channel's been impacted. But I do ask you and implore you to please share the content. If there's anything you can do for us, is to share the content, share the information, share it about, okay? Because I'm telling you, you can bring the country to a halt. I want someone to do some research for me and tell me how many black people there are, African, okay, when I say black, I mean of African origin, okay, living in America. And when I say of African origin, I also include native Indians as being of African origin. You just have to go to some places in Africa to see that, okay? So when some black people say to me, oh, I'm native Indian, I'm not, but if you look back at the history and you wonder where they come from, okay, if you go way back, you will see that it was actually Africans that actually traveled there, okay? So they are actual Africans, but, as through time, things change, okay? So I'm just saying of African origin so you understand, okay? That includes all religions, whether you're Hebrew Israelite, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim. It doesn't matter to me whether you're a Buddhist. I'm saying I want to know how many people that are black, okay, or black Americans or African Americans are there in America. Please do the research for me and put the information inside the chat so I can see it, okay? Because if 12 million is needed, okay, but this thing has to happen across all of the states, okay? It has to happen across all of the states. It has to also happen from outside of the states. This has to be global. This has to be global. And there are enough of us globally to have impact, I'm sure. What do you think? What do you think? If Blackout Friday can have impact, what do you think a general global strike, general, global, I'm changing it. Make it wider, make it bigger. Boycott. Black people, it's time for us to get our reparations back. Okay, it's time, it's high time. Okay, it's high time, honestly. I'm sorry for that, we had a slight disruption. You have to make shareholders shake, okay? The only way you can make shareholders shake is by being organized, okay? By being goal focused, knowing that this global strike, okay, against this authoritarianism, against this tyranny, against this racism, this racist system, okay? We can do it, yeah? Okay? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Okay, I apologize. We lost connection. It's not. My megabytes is very high. I just checked. Because when I go on the main system, it's worse. So I changed. So anyway, I'm sorry if many of you lost or left the live, but I would like to say that 994 billion, okay, dollars was spent, okay, in 2024, okay, during the Christmas holidays, okay, and a lot of that money is coming from our communities. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get together. I'm saying that we have to stop the excess spending with these corporates. Okay? If you do want to buy a gift, then maybe go online to a black supplier and buy something, you know, cultural for your child. Or buy a piece of land even. Okay? You can still get land here, well, you know, less than £800. You can buy land here. Okay? You can still... but we need collective refusal, okay, to stop buying their products. It is time for a change. It's time for a change, okay? It's time for collective action. It really is. And we have to. And this collective action is not a day. It has to be sustained over a long period of time, okay? With Rosa Parks, it was like a year. Can you imagine? A year, okay? Where no black person would enter a bus. We were unified. We were together. Okay? With Target, you had people in Target telling people don't go to Target. Now, whoever said to me about blackout being a disaster, it wasn't for us. Okay? It wasn't for us. Target wasn't a disaster for us. It's a disaster for Target. Target lost 680 million. We have to stop spending and start using our own barter system, okay? There's a lot of us in this world. In fact, I think there's more of us than them, okay? Because we're black. And at the end of the day, we all come from Africa, right? They put us in poverty and desperation. Poverty and desperation, all right? If people aren't having food, they're not having money. And this is what they're doing, yeah? To push you to create crime, because that is what happens, yeah? All these people, I told you, 48.4 million people addicted to drugs who are over the age of 12. Well, what are they escaping from? Okay? If you're living in such a civilized society and things are so great, well, what are they escaping from? Why is suicide the 11th highest reason, right? Leading reason for death. And in people that are under that are just from the age of 10 to 34, it's the second highest cause of death. Okay? Poverty. Okay? People like to create this impression about America, but I've been to America. So the reality of what is shown and the reality of what is seen is two different things. Okay? But we have to get together. We really do. We have to create our own systems. Okay? We have to stop spending money with them. It's just that. Because we're empowering them. We're enabling them. Okay? That is what it is. Okay? Now, the only way to throw a glitch in their system is to do it sustainably. People are saying 3 months, but I don't think 3 months is enough. Okay? I personally, greetings. Let me say hello to some people. Hi, Ernest. How are you? Hi, Linda. How are you? Hi, Black Boy. How are you? yeah, I think it has to be sustainable. I think it has to happen over a period of time. I know from November 25th to December 2nd, and I know because I put out notices on the community page urging and encouraging people to participate. I do encourage, I do apologize, they seem to have interfered with the program. I checked my megabytes, I checked everything, and or gigabytes, whatever it is, to see if there was an issue with it or with the signal. There didn't seem to be, so I didn't understand why at a very crucial point of me saying that we need a global strike, okay, a global boycott, global strike, okay, it has to be global. So people working in American companies abroad, also you can join in. It has to be impacted not just in America but outside. It has to be global. This is what I'm saying. It has to, the impact has to be global, and we have to unite. Hello, Thomas Williams, and greetings to you in Arizona. And thank you for joining the program. Have your say, okay? If you want to ask me pre-questions, especially the bigger ones, okay, then you can send them to me via our text line on +220 240 5273, okay, in advance, okay, so that I can answer them for you fully, okay? So Linda, good, thanks. Buy in black whenever I can. I joined. Is this the topic? Yes, it is Black Powernomics. You're quite right. We are talking about the blackout, and we are talking about how important it is in order not just to stop buying from them, but to start buying from ourselves. And there needs to be that critical change, because we're working against each other rather than with each other. There should be more trade between Africa and the diaspora, okay? Because we can provide for each other, whether it's plantains, yam, you understand? Okay, rice. Okay, so people want to do it. For example, for me, I never ever participated in Black Friday. I never ever did. I never have. I've never been to a sale. It didn't feel right for me, I never participated in Thanksgiving when I was in America. It didn't feel right to me. I don't celebrate Christmas. It didn't feel right for me. And it's not because of any religious reason. It's because I felt more adapted to Kwanzaa and to what Kwanzaa meant. Okay, I felt more culturally attached to that, and so that's the reason why I will celebrate Kwanzaa. And even in Kwanzaa you give gifts, but those gifts are from within your community. Okay, those are bought, you buy black for black, okay, by us for by us, I even used to wear FUBU, the big jeans and everything. I used to order those clothes, okay, because I wanted to make sure, and I used to buy from black designers. Why? Because it was very important to me to represent, okay, and to make sure that I can put my money back into black hands. Okay, that's very important. I mean, I did get disappointed in a few designers when I found that they had white partners, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, what? I was like, oh, right, okay, then, well, next time I'll do a little bit more research. But, you can't, you at the time, you didn't know that was going to be their decision or what they were going to do. You understand? Because then ultimately something happens and then whoop, it goes right back out to their community again. It doesn't stay in our community. So black economics is very good, and it's important for us to follow that model, especially when I listen to so many people talking about it, particularly in America. There are a lot of, really great people that are vocal on this, that I've actually had the privilege of speaking to, Professor Smalls, etc. Okay, and very much support what they're doing. Diaspora News as well. I'm listening to this accent. Where are you from? Okay, so I was born in England, and I live in Africa. I've been living in Africa for almost 7 years. I live in the Gambia, and I love it. I'm a repatriational specialist. I'm a business developer by trade. And I want you all to come to Africa. I want you to invest in Africa. I want you to realize that you have a place of choice. And the reason why I say this is because I do believe that there's something that's on its way that I don't think is going to be great for us in the West. Okay, I do believe that the West is on its way down. I'm just going to be honest with you. I believe the West is on its way down. Okay, it's on the way down. And the best way is out. Okay, they say that, you know, the next huge generation of young people is going to actually be in Africa. So, you know, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. But I do believe that the West is on the way down. There's too many signs. There's too many signs. You know, there are too many signs. Yeah, the West is in a decline. Okay, and I didn't trust. I'm sorry, but I don't trust the white man. You know, when I say that, I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about their systems. I don't trust their white systems. I do not. Okay. Yeah, I think we have to depend on each other, and I think it's up to us. Okay, but I definitely do think that, you know, the West is in the decline. Okay, they are in decline. There's too much going on. I mean, who's providing these drugs? Okay, let me just give you an example. Who's providing these drugs to the 48.4 million people? You think it's these little drug barons? Really? Think about it. Why is there such a huge drug problem in such a civilized nation? Why is there such a problem with alcoholism in such a civilized nation? Why is there such an addiction problem in such a civilized nation? You have to ask yourself this, okay? And I know because it was part of the culture when I was living in England too, okay? Okay, I think that, like I said, not everybody's like me, and I don't expect everybody to be like me. Okay, I'm not saying that. Yes, okay, like I said, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't do anything like that. Okay, I try and live a clean lifestyle, but that's by choice. Okay, but I do believe that the pressure is more on you in the West to do these things. Okay, I think there's more pressure on you in the West to do these things because of the pressure of life. Okay, because of the pressure of life that they put on you. Okay. Thank you, Black Boy. Okay, so he said that they need to be more like me, but the West is going to fall. Okay, so I advise you all start investing in Africa today. If you do want to, then, you know, give me a text line. Give me a text line. Give me a text on the text line, which is +220 240 5273. Mod, please put it in the comment section for me. Mod, Melanin 158. God bless you. Continue your good works in advising ignorant to come home and get the desired wealth. Absolutely. Wealth is, you see, a lot of people look at wealth as just finances, but it's not. Wealth is peace of mind. Okay? Wealth is your health as well, because if you're going to be unhealthy, you know, what are you going to do with that wealth? At the end of the day, you want your wealth and you want your health, and part of that is your peace of mind. These people, right? 48.4 million people are on drugs because their peace of mind. They have peace of mind. No, they don't. And it's getting worse. It's not getting better. Okay? Actually, yes, I have. For your information, Starflix, I have met a serial killer. I actually used to teach communications levels 1 and 2, yeah, in 2 prisons, okay, when I worked in the UK. So I used to teach communications level 1 and 2, okay, when I worked in prisons. And yes, I did meet serial killers. Also, I met gang rapists. I met many prisoners who I tried to improve their lives and I tried to change. So no, I don't have a fear of them, okay? Because people are people and everybody's journey is different, okay? It doesn't mean that you cannot have positive impact on someone's life, okay? And people, yes, they go down the wrong path, and yes, they become karmic, and yes, they make mistakes. But then, you know, you can change that. You can change that. You can change your life, okay? You can. And that's important, okay? So I worked in Aylesbury prison, and I worked in another prison, which is quite a big prison, which I shan't name. But anyway, that's by the by. I was just answering that because I don't usually answer those types of questions, but I think it's important that you don't fearmonger on this channel because it's unnecessary. Okay. But I think what's important, yeah, is okay, I think you should also go and do the right thing. Okay, go and do the right thing. Okay, because you don't know, a black man could have been accused of committed your crime, could even be doing time for the crime that you committed. So go and turn yourself in. Yes, you should. Okay. So hello, BlaXit. How are you, Chemos to say? How are you? Africa has gold, diamonds, and many of the minerals materials are the most biggest slice. Yeah, exactly. The problem that we have is the exploitation of them. Okay, what we have is the exploitation of them, where we are not controlling our own resources. This is why I love Captain Ibrahim Traore. This is why I love Captain Ibrahim Traore. Okay, because you know he's taking back control of his country's resources, and that is so that is so important. Okay, I just want to go over a few of your comments. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, that is so important that we are in control of our raw materials. But not only are we in control of those raw materials, but we're actually processing them ourselves and selling them ourselves and distributing them ourselves and manufacturing them ourselves. That is the importance. Because I'll give you an example. If I have raw cocoa, okay, and you come and you take that raw cocoa out of the country, and then you go and you take it out of the country, you process it, and then you send it back to me as a chocolate bar, which I'm paying, like, you know, each raw piece of cocoa is like 0.000.1 pence, okay? And then you sell me back the cocoa, which I'm paying in a chocolate bar, which is processed and packaged, which I'm then paying £1 for. Make it make sense. Isn't it better that you take that cocoa, okay? You process that cocoa, you make your chocolate bars yourself, and you sell them yourself? And that's where we went wrong, okay? Where we went wrong was giving control to them of our resources, and this has to now change. And if you look across Africa, this is now changing. People are now looking, and if you're seeing more coups and so on, it's because people are tired of, you know, puppets and being in control of their countries, okay, who are not actually serving for the betterment of the people. And this has to change. You know, the colonial puppets, they need to step down, or they need to just, you know, change the way in which they're doing things, because they're not helping the people. You know, and it's the same in America. Why are prices so bloody high? You know, I've got family living in America, so I know, okay? Oh, so Captain Ibrahim is doing too many. Okay, like I said, I've never heard that. I've actually never heard that. And to be honest with you, I think there's something that needs to be said, okay? Because, you know, if you want the gold, you're going to have to pay for it. It's not called a shabby deal, dear. It's called you're no longer getting it under the counter, right? Shipping it out of the country. You're no longer, what do they call them? Smuggling. You're no longer smuggling the gold. You're getting caught. So now you have to go and pay the proper price for it. It's not called shabby deals, darling. It's called business, yeah? And it's called standing on business. And it's a high time that African leaders stand on business, okay? So it's not called a shabby deal, dear. It's called business, okay? That's in response to your comment there, okay? We have to, you're right, I absolutely agree with you, Flab, right? We have to keep fighting the good fight, and I love you back, okay? We have to, because the bottom line is that unless we stand for something, we will fall for everything, and we have to stand on a business. It's high time that we stand on business, and we need to educate ourselves also, because, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that you can't get the information. I'm saying yes, but also have it so that you also know your own history. Have it so you also know about yourself, so that you don't have low self-esteem, so they can't manipulate you. Okay, because that's what they'll do. They'll use you, abuse you, and manipulate you. And they've done it for years. And it's high time that these things change. Okay, it's high time that these things change. Now, I didn't want to spend too much time on the subject. I wanted to answer the last question. Okay, well, I think it's two questions, sorry. One is about relationships. So someone said to me, they're coming to Africa and they're single. This is from a lady. Hello, my darling. You know who you are. And she wrote to me, wanted to know, she's coming to Africa as a single woman. She's coming to live. She's coming to set up, okay? And she's coming to live in the Gambia. And so I said to her, she wants to know, about relationships as a single woman. Will she find love, etc., etc. You can find love in the strangest of places. But I would say to you, just like anywhere in the world, you got to know what you're looking for, okay, in the relationship that you're going into. And also, you have to respect yourself, fundamentally. I think that's really, really important, okay? And so, first things first is, what are you looking for in the partner that you desire, okay? Do you want a man who is patient? Do you want a man who is loving? Do you want a man who is honest? Very important thing. Do you want a man who is faithful? Right? Do you want a man who understands what fidelity actually is? Do you want a man who is able to protect you? Who is able to defend you? Who is able to provide for you? Who is able to be, clean in every way? Yeah, who can cook, for example? Yeah. Do you want a man who's got a sense of humor? Do you want a man who's going to, stay by your side? Do you want a man who's emotionally balanced? Yeah. And emotionally available? You want a man who's not afraid to show affection? And he has a great eye for detail. You want a man who is romantic, will remember to give you gifts, who understands your love language, for example, and will celebrate your birthday and your anniversaries and remember them. And a man who is good with communication, who can express his emotions, okay, and also, things that he's not happy about, so that you can have conversations in order to, deal with any issues within the relationship. It all depends on, what you're looking for in that man. Are you looking for a man who is adventurous, likes to, go hiking or something? Are you looking for a man who's more like a Netflix and chill? Are you looking for a man who's definitely heterosexual and not bisexual or on the DL? Because there are a lot of men apparently now that I'm hearing that are claiming to be heterosexual, but they're actually on the DL. They go to hotels and they, spend the nights with men and, have men stay in their beds and, lay on men's chests and do all kinds of crazy stuff, but still claim to be heterosexual. Okay, they work with them, they share clothes with them, they do all kinds of things with them, but still claim to be heterosexual, but still give out, DL signals, down low signals, if you know what I'm saying. So you want to make sure that that man is heterosexual. Okay, you want to make sure that man's not paedophile either. You know what I mean? There's a lot of hoops and checks that you have to do, balances and checks that you have to do when looking for a man. And I mean, in Africa, is less of that, I think, than there is in the West. In the West, there's a lot of men on the DL. I think there's far less here in Africa. I think there's it's far less. But at the same time, you've always got to, err on the safety of caution. So if you're coming to Gambia to look for a man, I would definitely say, what kind of man do you want? Do you want a Christian man? Do you want a religious man? Do you want a Christian man? You understand? You want a man who's into African spirituality? Are you looking for a man who can teach, who can listen, who can understand, who can, motivate you, stimulate you? Do you want a man, of course, who's very passionate and can, satisfy your needs? But that is all later, because, when you're getting to know someone, that should be the furthest thing on the list. And I would say to put sex aside and just focus on the relationship, okay? And don't have any intercourse or anything like that until after you're married, okay? That's what I would suggest. And remember that there are different cultures, and in some cultures and in some religions, they're allowed to be polygamous. So if you don't want a man who's polygamous, you also need to, make sure that is on your checkbook list. So I would say, look at what you want and look at yourself. Look at how healed you are as a person, okay? Because you attract like, okay? So look at how healed you are, and look at, some of the things that you want to contribute to that relationship also, okay? Are you going to be nurturing? You're going to be faithful? You're going to be honest? You're going to be truthful. You're going to be transparent. You're going to be loyal. Loyalty is very, very important in a relationship. And, if there's no loyalty, then, there's no love. And also, is he going to give you his time? Because time is very important. If a man's always spending time on the phone to his friends, or always out with his friends, or he's doing other things, and he's not prioritizing you, you're not going to want that either. So this is just a few pointers. I hope I've answered your question. And so, yes, these are, there are good and decent men here. In fact, one of my good colleagues here is married to a Gambian man, and they are very happy together. So, it's very, very possible. There are many actual marriages that have happened here where the people are very happy together. Okay, so I would say it's definitely possible to come and find, maybe your true love. He was someone who's going to give you unconditional love, for a lifetime. So that's what we all want. So I hope that answers your question, that yes, and there are some very good-looking men in the Gambia. There are some very, very attractive men in the Gambia. I used to call them hot chocolates. So, yes, in answering that, yes, there is. There is every type of man from every type of background, whether it's a doctor or an, MP or a teacher or even an army general, whatever, they're all here, okay, for the picking. So it's entirely up to you, okay? But I would say, just use your own discernment and, do your due diligence, and do not rush. Take your time, step by step by step. And if he is not meeting, the mark to your satisfaction, then, be polite and be, respectful, and be responsible to yourself, and obviously say no. And also, with regard to any activities that you might be doing, make sure that before you get married, you take those all important tests. Okay, you take those tests to make sure that everything is correct. Okay, so okay, so send me that comment to the text line, and I will answer you. I will get a labour breakdown, and I will answer you. But agriculture is needed a lot here. Okay, agriculture is needed a lot here. So is construction. Just for saying so, and also farm tech, I think. So, yeah, and what was the other question? Hang on. Okay, so someone's coming here on holiday and they would like to know what are the top things they should bring. Okay, so that's quite an easy one. Firstly, bring yourself. That's important. The number was a British number, so you don't need a visa. Okay. When you come, I would definitely say bring light clothes because we are now in dry season. Okay. So the days can be quite hot, but especially if you're near the sea, because this is a coastal country, so you will definitely need a light shawl or cardigan for the evenings. Okay, bring with you insect repellent, moisturizer as well. Bring with you your phone. Okay, because you'll need that to take pictures and to contact everybody. Essentials to bring, maybe insect repellent, you might need that. What else? Juliet's forgot. Oh, what else would I bring if I was coming? I would bring items maybe to give and donate to schools, maybe. Like, you know, school books and pens, especially black books. We have the black book project. So if you want to bring some black books, we would appreciate that. What else would you bring? You could maybe bring some seeds because it's always nice to have a wider variety of agriculture. Can't think. Bring a good suitcase. What did I pack really when I was coming? You sweat a lot, so bring plenty of flannels. So, you know, pat your brow. I can't think really. I'm sorry on that one. I should have prepared more for that one. I'm really sorry. What would I pack? But those are the main essentials, really. Those are the main essentials, I think, really. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to close the live. I hope, and remember, when you're buying these things, yeah, buy black. Buy black, 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 buy black. Okay? Okay? So, absolutely, it is. So, okay, so like I said, we are going to be expanding with regards to our communications outside of YouTube, and we will be making new programs, okay, for the main channel. So please stick with us, okay. I do apologize for the lull. We tried our best, but he is back. So our editor and cameraman is back, thankfully. So thank you, African Boyo. He'll be back joining the team. I didn't want to put someone in to take his job because what happened to him was unfortunate. So, you know, we try to hold the fort as we do, yeah, in terms of being loyal. So just remember what I said, okay? We've got to ask ourselves, why do they have us turning on ourselves, okay? Okay? Because we've been attacked just like you. We've been depleted just like you have. We've been robbed just like you have. We've been misguided just like you have. We have been made to hate ourselves just like you have, okay? We have been miseducated just like you have. We have faced losses and deaths and ill health just like you have, okay? Who is the common enemy here? So that's why I said we need a global boycott, okay? Global. America's not enough. It has to be global. We have to support our brothers and sisters over there in the US. It has to be global, okay? So someone said, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, food security is a priority. You're absolutely right, universe, unity and strength, okay? Sandy said, thank you. Now that I know, 2 p.m. GMT. Okay, it's 9 a.m. Ontario. Canada time. Okay, good morning to you over there in Canada, Sandy. How are you? Okay, Unity Instrument said, land is the wife of God. Absolutely. And I do implore you and encourage you. I have had some interest in those 8 plots that I mentioned. Okay, the 8 plots that were going. So if you are interested, do let me know. Okay. I've been missing the lives due to the time thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, well, now we're at 2 o'clock. I hope that makes it a bit easier for you. Okay. If you want me to make it a bit earlier, a bit later, let me know. Okay. Okay, and one love to you, Shane Frank, over there in Jamaica, 3669. Okay, and Sandy, 77. I'm great, thank you. I'm glad I caught this live, and I'm glad that I caught you, Sandy. Thank you for joining us today, everybody that joined us today. Thank you so much, and thank you for your comments. Thank you for your lives. Like I said, it is time for serious boycotts. Okay, listen. It's serious. It's time, okay? It's time to change the balance. It's time to change the divide. And the only way we can do that, right, is when we decide to work together as a collective. This is collective action, okay? The only reason why they are thriving is because we keep spending our money with them. Okay, and it's time for us to stop spending our money with them. This global strike that is going to happen is going to impact many people, okay, but it has to do in the right way. The only way to kill a beast, yeah, is to know how that beast operates, where that beast goes, what that beast does, what that beast eats on, okay, and what is that beast's weakness. And we know the beast's weakness is money, power, and control. So let's take it back. We have the power. The people have the power. You gave them the power. Just remember that. You gave them the power. Okay? It's reparations time. Okay? It's reparations time. I say go and support Brendan Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. Watch him if you haven't watched him. Hear what he's saying. Okay, there are many organizations that are out there. I'm also going to create some to help us to do it in Africa as well, because the time is here and the time is now. Okay, it's our time. It's our time to take back control. Okay, I love you, BlaXit family. Yeah, don't forget, if you're interested in those lands, okay, that we have land in Aneto Sion, we have land in Bussorah, and the other estates are coming up fast, and we're going to have a land sale. So there's going to be a discount. Okay, so those plots were just 75,000 dollars each, which is about, I think, 700 and something pounds. Each, okay, in dollars. I'm not quite sure what that is. I'm sorry. I don't know what the rate is at the moment. But if you work in pounds, that's what it is, okay? So if you take 75,000 dollars, that's for a plot of land, which is 400 square meters, okay? So if you're interested, get in contact with me straight away. Okay. That's right. Unity and Strength said African men, that's right. Lift your women, okay, and defend your land and respect each other and honor your ancestors. Absolutely right. That is the comment of the day. I should pin that comment, okay? Thank you so much, okay? That is so true. That's what we need to do, especially honoring our women and looking after our children. There are too many women that are left with the children, okay? That are left with the children where, you know, a relationship breaks down and the men think it's okay that they go and they find another wife, they find another woman, well, the woman they were cheating with while they were married anyway, and she's only going to inherit the same thing because he'll cheat on her as well, okay? And they go and they find another wife, and then it's like they leave their children behind. They don't take care of their children. They don't see their children. And I'm living the experience myself right now. And that's why I can tell you it is not Nice. When my son graduated, my other son graduated, his son, he was right there with his father. And I am so proud of both my son and also his father. So I am not used to this. I'm not used to a father not being responsible. I'm not used to a father not being a part of their child's life. I'm not used to a father, you know, not supporting and financially contributing towards their child, not one penny in nearly 4 years. Absolutely ridiculous. I've never experienced it before, and I tell you, I don't like it. So I will say to all of you men that are out there, please be responsible, okay? Like you said, uplift the women. Yeah, our relationship broke down. I don't hate you, okay? It's just what it is, okay? Marriages break down all the time. I wasn't his first wife, so he had been divorced before. But what I am saying is that it doesn't mean that you shouldn't look after your children. And that was something that I always stood on business with. You know, something that's very, very important is that you have a relationship with your child. Fathers have a very important role to play with, especially, both sons and daughters, but especially sons. Okay, very, very important. And so in saying that, please, you know, try and ensure that you do have a relationship with your children, because they are breaking our families down, and they're doing it intentionally. Because your relationship breaks up doesn't mean that your family has to be destroyed. You can still have a good relationship with your children. You can still have a cordial relationship with your ex. It doesn't mean that you have to be back together again, because, you know, people split because people outgrow each other. Some people, you know, they just excel and they assimilate and they grow and they develop, while the other person doesn't. They stagnate, and so sometimes, you know, there's a difference in frequency, and so they're not aligned anymore. They're not in alignment. Because you come out of alignment doesn't mean that you turn your back on your child. It doesn't mean that you don't, you know, support your child. It doesn't mean that you stop the relationship and the guardianship and the education and the enablement and, you know, the confidence that you instill in your child, because you don't want your child to go and do to their child what you're doing to them. It's the wrong principle, and we have to stop the cycle. Okay? And I like talking about my personal life, but I have to say that we need to stop the cycle. And like I said, I'm experiencing it, so I'm talking about it. We have to stop the cycle. I shouldn't have to go to court to get you to do the right thing by your child. That's entirely the wrong thing. Okay? So please, to all fathers out there and all mothers out there as well, stand by our children, take care of our children and love our children. And also stop the cruelty to children. I don't like all this cruelty to children, you know. It's getting out of control, because people are facing poverty, so they're taking it out on their children. It's not right. Children deserve to be loved, protected, and they need to be, you know, given guidance. Okay? Phones aren't supposed to raise children. Mobile phones are not supposed to raise children. We are supposed to raise our children. Okay, we have a responsibility and a duty as parents. The TV is not supposed to raise our children. School is not supposed to raise our children. We are supposed to raise our children. Okay? Okay, so Sandy said that I know that experience of the absentee father and the absentee ex-husband, and it's horrible. And I am over my sons to do better. Absolutely, so am I. Absolutely, so am I. Luckily enough for me, like I said, you know, my other son, his father has been absolutely sterling. You know, we had our issues in the beginning. I hasten to add, I had to stand on business, but, you know, he came through in the end. But, you know, this is, like I said, this is diabolical, and it has to stop. This pattern of failure within families has to stop, by mothers and fathers. I'm not just castigating fathers, because there's mothers out there that are whatless too, okay? So I'm going to say that, okay? I'm happy to see you. I hope all is well with you and the family. I have not seen your show for some time, and I'm glad that you are still doing the good work. Bless up. Oh, thank you so much. Who's that, Dean? Yeah. Okay, thank you, Dean. Okay, so listen, I'm going to love you and leave you, and just like to tell you that, you know, we can do this if we work together. We can do this if we work together, okay? 12 million people, we can do this, okay? We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We bestow it from our children. Thank you so much. That is so... I actually interviewed, I call him King Maponga, yeah? I actually interviewed him on BlaXit. So if you do want to see some of his comments, you can see them on... If you go back through some of the BlaXit content, maybe I should post some important interviews, and also Pilo Lumumba as well. You know, my love also goes out to Usman. Usman had a little accident, so you know, my love goes out to him and wishing him a speedy recovery. So anyway, I'm going to go, but remember, we are one people, okay? We are one people, one Africa, one unity, one destiny, one love, okay? And remember, if you want to get those repatriation land plots from me, like I told you, they're like 700 and something pounds. I've got to do the calculation because I'm not sure exactly what the rate is. It was something like 784, yeah, but I'm not exactly sure what the rate is today. That's why I said something 700 and something. And that's for a plot of land here in the Gambia, okay? So I love you so much, okay? Hurry up and come back home. Hurry up and come back home. Hurry up and come back home. Africa is the place to be, okay? And I love living here and I love my life, and I want you to also come off the grid, okay? Clear your debt, build your house, no rent, no mortgage, okay? Get your water from your borehole, get your power from the sun, okay? And grow your food, okay? Grow your food and be of service to the community, okay? I love you so much. I love you, I love you, I love you. Yeah, I want you to love yourselves more too. Say, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, okay? And we love each other, we love each other, we love each other. That's what's important, okay? Okay, I love you, and I will see you next week, same time, 2 p.m.